All right. All right, we are just going to go live now. Whoops. All right, Move Student Ministries, come grab a seat, one person per row. Everyone needs a mask. I know you guys are going to be really spread out, I'm so sorry. Was that? Yeah, sure. As long as you're not as long as there's a ton of distance. All right, you guys can kill the music. Well, we are going to do a game tonight to kick things off, but first I just want to tell you guys, I'm so glad to see your beautiful faces. And Philip, I'm so happy to see your face as well. That was a really subtle dig if you didn't pick that up. All right, so the game that we're going to do tonight is going to be bingo. So the way this is going to work is you're going to come and grab a card. I've got cards over there, cards in the middle, and I've got cards over here, and you're also going to grab a cup. These cups are filled with Cheerios so that you can throw them away when you're finished. All right, so you're going to come up, grab a bingo card, and grab a cup. And let's do boys first. Boys, you can come on up, grab a bingo card, grab a cup full of Cheerios, and then you can go back to your seat. You probably want to do this on the ground. And if you are watching with us at home, in the description of this video, there's some bingo cards. Now you can open up any one of those 4 bingo cards, pick one through 4, and then as we call out numbers, I want you to write down what you got, okay? So if you got B49, I want you to write that down on a slip of paper, and if you get bingo, in the chat, I need you to comment what you got, and I need you to write all the numbers and which card you used, all right? So I need you to give me as much information, because if you win, I will hand deliver a prize to your house, or find you in the next couple weeks and give you the prize as well. Okay, so let's have the girls come on up and get their cards. I forgot to tell you guys what our prizes are going to be. We have candy up here. Like good candy, big candy bars, Skittles, Starbursts, Milky Ways, Three Musketeers. All right, so you guys can grab a cup and a card and then go grab a seat. Hopefully our viewers at home are ready to go, because we are going to start. So you probably want to do this on the floor. You probably, because it's going to be really hard to balance this in your lap, and I am not going to keep track of it for you. Okay? Oh, that one was flying out. Oh, I should tell you, we're going for the first person to get 4 in a row. So we're not going to do an hour-long game of bingo. First is B2. B2. Second is N40. N40. Did you guys know that some people consider bingo to be, well, this type of bingo to be evil and sinful? Did you know that? N45. N45. We have G49. G49. I have I18. Whoops, I18. I cannot hold on to that. And I also have I19. Is anyone getting close? All right. I have N41. N41. Does anyone have bingo yet? Actually, I don't think you can. We don't have any O's. N39. You guys are all waiting on an O right now, aren't you? N34. I have a B15. And I have a G54. G54. No O's yet. I think the O's are yellow. I got B50. No, wait, no, I'm sorry. G50. I got N31. N31. I-25. B6. Is there anybody who has 3 right now?
I have 3.
We got a couple 3 in a rows ready to go. You're just waiting on an O. I got B9. If you run out of Cheerios, come up and fill your cup. I got a box up here. Oh, I have my first O coming. I have I-23. I-23. And the first O is O64. Did anyone get a bingo? We got a bingo. O64. All right, tell me which ones you have and I'll double check. What was the B? That is a bingo. Come on up. So, and what's your name again? Lauren. Hi, I'm Pastor Justin. I have Skittles and Starburst right here. And over here I have the chocolate. You can do Three Musketeers, Snickers, or Twix. And I think I have one more Skittle over here. All right, what'd you take? The Starburst. Nice. Lauren took the Starburst. 1 second. I think the stream's working well. Okay, we're going to keep going. We got time. All right. Raise your hand if you're at 3 right now. All right, we got a ton of people at 3 waiting for another good O. I got B13. I got I-27. I got G58. I got B12. Here come the yellows. 3 in a row. You ready for this? O66. Okay. Okay. No bingos. It's okay. I got O73. No bingos. Wow. I got O62. Wow. No bingos. All right. I have N38. I got I-26. Do you want to go grab a card right there? And then the Cheerios we're using for, yeah. O74. There has to be a bingo on that. No? Oh my gosh. All right, we're going rapid fire now. B11. G60. Wait, is there a bingo? Did I hear bingo? Who has it? Who? Izzy, come on up. Actually, which ones do you have? Sorry, I should double check first. O66. All right, come on up. Chocolate's over here. Skittles are over here, and there's Starburst over there. We're spread out a little bit because I'm trying to social distance. I'm trying to do a good job. We're going to do one more. One more bingo, and then we'll be done for the day. I-30. I-21. O65. Oh, I got a bingo. Is that Madison? I heard Madison.
Yeah.
Madison, read off your ones.
O65, O73, O64, and O70.
No way. You got all O's? Dude. All right, come on up, Madison. I got Starburst, chocolate, and Skittles over here. Nice. All right, we are going to call it for bingo. What I need you guys to do is to put all your Cheerios into your cups, and then I need you to go throw them away in the hallway right there, okay? So put all your Cheerios back in your cup and go toss it in the garbage in the hallway. Try to social distance on your way out. Give each other some space. Please do not leave any Cheerios on the floor. And then you can bring your bingo cards up and stack them on the stage where you found them. And I will clean them up afterwards. Stack them on stage. All right. Now, I don't know if any of you won at home because I'm not currently monitoring the chat. Actually, I can check right now. Oh, no one in the chat says that they won. So if you do post something in the chat, it is going to be a little suspicious saying that you won from now on. But if I think you're a trustworthy person, I might be inclined to believe you. So, we are going to keep going tonight. So is this weird for you guys? Does this feel like normal church? It doesn't, right? We're not clustered together. We can't like all sit together in this one little spot. And the reason that we're going this way, the reason we're being this intense, the reason I'm making you guys all wear masks is because some of you have family members that are vulnerable. Some of you guys, actually people in our church that want to come are vulnerable, and we want to make them feel comfortable doing so, and we don't want to screw it up for ourselves, right? Because if there is an outbreak that happens, guess what we're going to have to do? Stop doing live church, and we're going to have to go back to doing everything online. So we are doing our best to stay safe and be smart. And with that, I need you guys to, just the rest of the day, try to keep your distance. Use hand sanitizer. We have it posted out there. And when we go to our bonfire later, before you touch the food, before you touch, like if you're going to make a s'more, before you touch the packaging, I need you to use the hand sanitizer we provide. And while we're out there, we're going to try to space out our chairs really well so that no one's sitting too close to each other. You will not have to wear your masks outside. Everyone say, yay! I have glasses, if you can't tell, and it sucks extra worse for people with glasses. Because if this is not perfect, my glasses fog up and I can't see and I have to take it off. So I understand how annoying it is. I have a beard and this thing tickles my beard all 7 ways. So, I have a couple announcements, and then we are going to go into worship. You guys ready? First announcement. I think there's only one grad party this weekend, and it is for Jordan Norwood. You can find information about his grad party on Facebook. And you're like, well, Pastor Justin, my parents aren't on Facebook. You can email the church at frontoffice@lifechurchblaine.com, and they will tell you all the information you need about where his grad party is, okay? So if you're watching online, you're like, I need to know about Jordan's grad party. frontoffice@lifechurchblaine.com, or you can just ask me and I'll get you the information. I'm going to be posting it this week online for your parents to see so that they can stay informed as well, but we would love to see you guys at Jordan's. And I'm pretty sure they're not requiring masks at that one, so you don't have to wear masks, which is exciting. So, I think we're going to go into a time of worship. You guys ready? Okay, here are the rules. You have to spread out as far as humanly possible from other people when we do worship, okay? So like 4 corners, like no close, because singing is where we have the highest risk of transmitting anything that is in our body, okay? So we're going to allow singing, but we're going to spread out as much as we can so we don't have anyone sick, and we're going to keep our masks on, okay, guys? So you guys can go ahead and spread out right now, and then we're going to have the worship team come on up for worship.
What's up? kind of chill tonight with our worship. And things are going to look a little different. I know it's our first night back. And we're just excited to be able to spend this time really pressing into what God wants to do in our hearts tonight. You guys, I'm sure, are aware of everything that's going on in the world, specifically in Minneapolis. We have a lot of just chaos and pain and things going on that are hard to understand, hard to explain. And for a lot of us, it puts us in this place of like, what do I do? How do I respond to this? What is my role in all of this? And when I've asked myself that question, God reminded me that we have two of the most powerful things at our access, and that's worship and prayer. Those are two ways that we can directly respond to what's going on. And so tonight, we have time to do that. We have time to spend time with God, just connecting with his heart, saying, God, what do you want to do? What do you want to say to me about this? And then we're going to give you guys time specifically to be praying over some of the things that are going on in our world. So just get your mind in a space of being able to connect with God, hear from him, be open to what he wants to say to you tonight, and then respond. When you walk into the room and everything changes, darkness starts to tremble at the light that you bring. When you walk into the room and every heart starts burning, and nothing matters more than just to sit here at your feet and worship. Here for you, Jesus. Just want to know your heart. And we love you, and we'll never stop. We can't live without you, Jesus. We love you. And we can't get enough. All this is for you, Jesus. Give us more of your heart tonight. 'Cause when you walk into the room, sickness starts to vanish. Every hopeless situation ceases to exist. And when you walk into the room, the dead begin to rise, 'cause there is a resurrection life in all you do. We love you, and we'll never stop. We can't live without you, Jesus. We love you, and we can't get enough. All this is for you, Jesus. Let's invite him to come and consume, God, all we are. We give you permission. Our hearts are yours. We want you. Tell him from your heart. We want you to come and consume, God, all we are. We give you permission. Our hearts are yours. We want you. As we think about the things that are going on in our world and in our close community, we just want to take some time and specifically pray that God would help us align ourselves with His heart. And when we do that, there's 3 different areas that we have to think about. We have to think about our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And I'm specifically talking about what's happening in Minneapolis. When it's hard for us to understand, it's hard for us to think about what's the right way that I should be responding to this. And so we're going to just spend some time praying about those 3 specific things within our life. So right now, we're going to start by thinking about and praying about and asking God to show us, how can my thoughts reflect your heart on this situation? And I'm not going to tell you what you should think. I'm going to let God do that. I'm going to let the Holy Spirit do that through this time. So wherever you are, just stay in this mindset. Close your eyes if you need to focus in, but just start to ask God, God, where are my thoughts maybe twisted or different from what you would think about things? And how can I start to align my thoughts with yours? Let's just pray about that. ask him, God, how should I be responding with my words about this? The way you talk about things that are going on, the way your words can influence other people to think a certain way, the way we respond to people who think differently. And just again, invite him to tell you what he thinks about it and how your words should be a reflection of him. Response to things is our actions. And there might be things later tonight or later in the week that God might put on your heart as far as what your actions should be in response to the different things that go on in our world. But right now, we're going to make the choice to use our actions through prayer and let prayer be our response. So as a group, we're going to stand in agreement and pray for Minneapolis, pray for the surrounding area, pray for our country as it's related to the murder of George Floyd and the things that are going on with that. But also, I know COVID is still a very real thing that's going on that has affected a lot of your lives, your families. You might know people who have had it or who have passed away from it or been really sick. And so we're just going to come before God and ask for change with these things. Ask for healing with these things. And I'm going to invite Pastor Justin up to lead us in that time together.
Father, throughout history, you've revealed yourself to us as a God of compassion, as a God of patience, as a God who seeks to reconcile lost people with himself, people who that he would consider to be his enemies, Father. You've proven yourself time and time again to be the one that goes after people that don't deserve to be chased down and embraced and loved and forgiven. And Father, would we imitate you in every way? Would we chase the lost, not expect them to come to us? Would we be the first to extend a hand of forgiveness the way you extended your hand to us? Would we honor our enemies? Would we bless those who curse us? And would we find justice everywhere we go? Would we bring it with us, Father? Lord, would you take these events? Would you take COVID? Would you take the murder of George Floyd? And would you change our hearts, Father? Would you kill the apathy that has grown inside of us for so long? Would you get us out of our seats? Would you get us out of our pews? And would we become a people of action? A people spurned by love and compassion for other people. In your name, amen. You guys can just grab a seat where you're at, find a chair. I want to stay in this environment. I want to stay in this mentality. We've been talking about the book of Amos. We started last week. The book of Amos is written by a man who wasn't specifically trained to be a speaker or a prophet or a preacher. He was just a shepherd who lived up in the hills. And he saw what was going on in his nation, and it drove him mad. I was reading scripture today to plan my message, and I searched for the word fire. And the word fire in the book of Amos comes up over and over again because Amos is pronouncing judgment against Israel. And when he talks about the way God is going to judge Israel, it's through fire. He says, I'm going to send people to your cities to light them on fire because you have failed my kingdom. Because you have failed my expectations for you as a people. And in Amos chapter 5, he details what God expects from the people that call themselves his followers. He lists time and time again that he doesn't care about their services of worship, that he doesn't care about their sacrifices, that he doesn't care about all the great rules they're following. He's not concerned about that. And we've read this. This is Amos chapter 5, verses 21 through 24. I hate all your show and pretense, the hypocrisy of your religious festivals and solemn assemblies. I will not accept your offerings and your grain offerings. I won't even notice all of your choice offerings of peace. Away with your noisy hymns of praise. I will not listen to the music of your harps. Instead, I want to see a mighty flood of justice and an endless river of righteous living. God expects the people of Israel to seek out justice and to seek out righteousness. And those are big Christian words. But they mean that we are to be a people that are compassionate and love our neighbors so much that when they are wronged, when their life is taken, when they are beaten down and oppressed, that we step out of our comfortable lives and we do something. We walk alongside them. Not because God told us to, not because if we don't, we're risking hell, but because of compassion and love for the people that God has placed on each side of us. In John chapter 21, verses 15 through 17, Jesus is speaking with one of his disciples, Peter. And he says this. After breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, Peter replied, you know that I love you. And feed my lambs, Jesus says. And Jesus comes back to Simon and he asks the same question, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Yes, Lord, Peter says, you know that I love you, Jesus. I have been with you for 2 years of my life. I have given up everything that I had. I gave up my family. I gave up my business. My life has been in danger for 2 years. I have followed you everywhere you've gone. I've heard every message you've ever spoken. Jesus, I love you. And Jesus turns to Peter and again he says, take care of my sheep. And And the third time he asked him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And Peter was hurt that Jesus had asked this question a third time. He said, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. And feed my sheep, Jesus said. I've spent the past week of my life listening. I've been listening to pastors in the assemblies of God and outside of the assemblies of God. I've been listening to black pastors and black people who have talked to me time and time again, saying that what they saw a week and a half ago when George Floyd was murdered by a police officer is something that they live in fear of constantly. I've spoken to mothers of black sons who said that they're consumed by fear that their son would be on the news the way George Floyd was last week. And what breaks my heart is that this has somehow become a political issue. Caring for people who are afraid of losing their lives from people who are supposed to protect them has somehow become politicized. It has somehow become a divisive issue. And I'm telling you right now, young people, when you listen to the heart of God, there is no division in his heart when he says, feed my sheep, take care of my people. If we can't be compassionate to our neighbors, if we can't take them seriously and listen to their stories, then we are inviting the judgment of God as we ignore justice and as we ignore righteousness. We are inviting the destruction that happened to Israel if we do not, as a country, listen and respond to people who are afraid and people who are hurting. And we have failed. And there's no easy solution. But what we can start doing is listening and caring and loving and praying. I brought the cross up this week because of what it represents. You see, the cross is a symbol of what Jesus did for us. Jesus left his safe place. He left his place of authority and power and status and privilege. And he threw himself in between us and the fire of hell because of his love and because of his compassion for us. He threw himself in between you and hell, young person. He threw himself in between me and hell. And this is the symbol that we've chosen to imitate, that we've chosen to align ourselves with. A God who left his lofty tower for us to serve and to love and to sacrifice himself for. This is who we've been called to imitate. And as these weeks go on, we're going to be talking more about ways we can do that. But young person, today we're going to focus on our hearts. That we would be a people filled with compassion for the people standing next to us. Would you bow your heads with me? Would you just pray in your heart? Repeat these words under your breath, in your heart, on your own. Father, would I pick up a cross? The way you threw yourself in between me and hell because of your love for me. Would I throw myself in front of hell and other people? Would I be a person that is committed to compassion and love and caring, Father, no matter how that makes me look in front of my friends? Would I care so much more about you and your people? The way you said, feed my sheep, take care of my sheep. Father, would I be a person that loves you so much that I have no other choice but to take care of your sheep? And would justice and righteousness flow out of our country, into the streets, into the lives and the hearts of people. Would we see healing and reconciliation? In your name, amen. I have a video that I'd like you guys to watch. Worship team, you guys can come down.
If you were a praying mantis, it would be socially acceptable to devour your mate.
And if you're a honey badger, you have no regard for other animals. You don't care.
If you're a panda with twins, it's normal to abandon one to take care of the other.
But if humans do any of these things, we would call it wrong, unfair, or unjust.
Yeah, why is that? Why do humans care so much about justice?
Well, the Bible has a fascinating response to that question. On page 1, humans are set apart from all other creatures as the image of God.
Yeah, God's representatives who rule the world by his definition of good and evil.
And this identity, it's the bedrock of the Bible's view of justice. All humans are equal before God and have the right to be treated with dignity and fairness no matter who you are.
And that would be nice if we all did that. But we know how the world really works.
And the Bible addresses that too. It shows how we are constantly redefining good and evil to our own advantage at the expense of others.
Yeah, self-preservation. And the weaker someone is, the easier it is to take advantage of them.
And so in the biblical story, we see this happening on a personal level, but also in families, and then in communities, and in whole civilizations that create injustice, especially towards the vulnerable. But the story doesn't end there. Out of this whole mess, God chose a man named Abraham to start a new kind of family. Specifically, Abraham was to teach his family to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice.
If doing righteousness, that's a Bible word I don't really use, but what comes to mind is being a good person.
But what does that even mean, being good? The biblical Hebrew word for righteousness is tzedakah, and it's more specific. It's an ethical standard that refers to right relationships between people. It's about treating others as the image of God,
with the God-given dignity they deserve.
And this word justice, it's the Hebrew word mishpat. It can refer to retributive justice.
Like if I steal something, I pay the consequences.
Exactly. Yet most often in the Bible, mishpat refers to restorative justice. It means going a step further, actually seeking out vulnerable people who are being taken advantage of and helping them.
Yeah, some people call this charity.
But mishpat involves way more. It means taking steps to advocate for the vulnerable and changing social structures to prevent injustice.
So justice and righteousness are about a radical, selfless way of life.
Yeah, and you find this idea all over the Bible. Like here, in the book of Proverbs, what does it mean to bring about just righteousness?
Open your mouth for those who can't speak for themselves.
And what do these words mean for the prophets, like Jeremiah?
Rescue the disadvantaged, and don't tolerate oppression or violence against the immigrant, the orphan, and the widow.
And like here, look in the book of Psalms.
The Lord God upholds justice for the oppressed, gives food to the hungry, and sets the prisoner free. But he thwarts the way of the wicked. Whoa, he thwarts the wicked?
Yeah, in Hebrew, the word wicked is rasha. It means guilty or in the wrong. It refers to someone who mistreats another human, ignoring their dignity as an image of God.
So justice and righteousness is a big deal to God.
Yes, it's what Abraham's family, the Israelites, were to be all about. They ended up as immigrant slaves, being oppressed unjustly in Egypt. And so God confronted Egypt's evil, declaring them to be rasha, guilty of injustice. And so he rescued Israel. But the tragic irony of the Old Testament story is that these redeemed people went on to commit the same acts of injustice against the vulnerable. And so God sent prophets who declared Israel guilty.
But they weren't the only ones. There's injustice everywhere.
Yeah, some people actively perpetrate injustice. Others receive benefits or privileges from unjust social structures they take for granted. And sadly, history has shown that when the oppressed gain power, they often become oppressors themselves.
So we all participate in injustice, actively or passively, even unintentionally. We're all the guilty ones.
And so this is the surprising message of the biblical story. God's response to humanity's legacy of injustice is to give us a gift, the life of Jesus. He did righteousness and justice, and yet he died on behalf of the guilty. But then God declared Jesus to be the righteous one when he rose from the dead. And so now Jesus offers his life to the guilty so that they too can be declared righteous before God, not because of anything they've done, but because of what Jesus did for them.
The earliest followers of Jesus experienced this righteousness from God, not just as a new status, but as a power that changed their lives and compelled them to act in surprising new ways.
Yeah, if God declared someone righteous when they didn't deserve it, the only reasonable response is to go and seek righteousness and justice for others.
This is a radical way of life, and it's not always convenient or easy. It's courageously making other people's problems my problems.
This is what Jesus meant by loving your neighbor as yourself. It's about a lifetime commitment fueled by the words of the ancient prophet Micah. God has told you, humans, what is good, and what the Lord requires of you is to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
We're going to end here in a second. I just have one more thing that I want to share with you guys. When we talk about justice and righteousness and God's heart for people, it's not just for the people that are oppressed, the people that are beaten down, and the people that are taken advantage of. Because God's love extends to the oppressor as much as it extends to the oppressed. God's love exists for murderers as much as it exists for the murdered. And God's heart is to reconcile us with himself. No matter where we're at, no matter what we've done, no matter the lies that we've said. And there are people in this room that I don't know where you're at with God right now. I just want to invite you in your heart to say, you know what, God, I want to be reconciled with you. I want to be brought back closer to you. Would you guys just bow your heads with me one more time, then we're going to end for the day. If you're in this room and you say, you know what, I want to be reconciled with God, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I'm not going to ask you to stand up. I'm just going to ask you to agree with me in your heart and pray this prayer under your breath. Father, would you reconcile me to yourself? Would you forgive me for every wrong I've done, for the harm I've done to my family members, my friends, to students in school or to my teachers, Father? Would you forgive me for all I've done? Would you bring me close to you, Father? I accept you as my King. Would you help me become a person that can help reconcile other people to each other and to you? In your name, amen. All right, young people, that was heavy. It was a heavy evening. It's been a heavy week, and it's been a heavy couple of months. And you know what? We just need to hang out and have fun tonight. I think that's what we need to do next. So, here's the game plan. Live stream. I'm sorry, but this is all I have for you. I can't do anything else tonight. I miss you. I love you. But you can feel free to log off. I'm going to shut it down here in a second. For the rest of us, as soon as we get outside, you can take off your masks. You're going to need to go into the fusion room and grab a chair for yourself. We are going to line them up outside. If I could get a couple of leaders to grab the, or just like people who can carry things. There's bags over against the door. There is a container full of lemonade. There's cups. If you could bring those out to the tables. We're going to go light the fire here in a second. We have a volleyball that is half filled up with air. Is it full? Nash, you beautiful man.
Yeah, you are.
Nash filled up our volleyball so we can play volleyball. This is what we're going to do. You want to hear my amazing plan? Every 3 volleys, we're going to rub it down with hand sanitizer. You guys like that? Or like a disinfecting wipe? Actually, Emma Shively, where are you at? Could you go grab some disinfecting wipes? And we'll bring those outside. Awesome. So we are going to do some volleyball, or you can just sit around the bonfire and hang out together. But why don't you guys go grab chairs, and then we're going to head outside.
Say no lazy
Bye, Lashri.